Okay, so this is today's project. This is where the refrigerator sits, and as you can tell, we got a nice little hole in the floor. Now this particular board here is screwed in with 4 screws. We already undid 2 of them. One there, we got one back over there, and one down there that we got to mess with. And then we have this side here, and then the floor itself for where the refrigerator is sitting. And then I'm going to take some boards and hopefully cover this up just a little bit with the outlet. Got to make sure that we cut out a space for that and the wires. But anyways, you can see there's some rotting chipboard there. We can actually easily, pull it apart, as we was doing last night, was pulling this up a little bit. So it's just like, there it is, just crazy stuff. Okay, so we've removed the insulation from this side. You can see there's some rotted areas up in here. Now this side here, trying to pull it away from the wall, it looks like it was stuck in with staples and glue. But way down here there is a screw holding that harness together. So that is what we're going to be removing next, to try to pull this piece away from the so as you can see, we've removed this paneling here, removed the insulation. There was only one screw that was holding that harness in down there, and it came out fairly easy. So just kind of rechecking some of these boards. One of the problems that we run across in the woods is these lovely things called wood roaches, and they can get quite big. So we can see right up there somewhere, there he is, a big old wood roach right there. So we will kick his little butt right on out of here in just a few minutes. That's one of the reasons why we want to get everything sealed up, since we're not using the old factory refrigerator in this thing. This is a 1994 Holiday Rambler Free Spirit that we're fixing to remodel. So one of the things that was a good question was about this board, if it extended underneath the stove, and it does not. So this is what we're going to remove next, is right out over here. And so a good little chipboard there that's kind of rotten out. We may take this paneling off, so we can just toss some of the excess boards and stuff right out instead of bringing it into the trailer itself. Okay, so what I think is going on here is, I do not think this is actually nailed in at all, but there's this little strip of glue that you can see that some of it has actually come up. Some of it's just peeling right off. But what I want to do is, I'm going to take off this grate here, and right over here is a screw, and then down at the bottom is 2 screws as well. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to try to beat it up with a hammer at this point in time. So I tried beating it with a hammer from the upside. You can tell some of it was able to come up there. But what I'm discovering is, see, this goes right underneath this little 1-inch board that seems to be stapled. It's stapled in. But then I looked underneath here, and there, you see that board way back there? That is one of the boards that this plywood was at least one time attached to. So and you can see by looking at the board, there are some great big giant staples in there. So it looks like I'm going to make a trip to the hardware store to either find a bit for a Dremel to be able to just kind of saw through some of this to get this, or find some way to help get this board out of there without having all the without being able to access underneath here very easily. You can see where that 1-inch board rolls through there. So it's certainly a project. I am not gonna lie about that. But so we will be back shortly. Alright, so after removing the floor part where the refrigerator was sitting, there's actually staples that they put into these little one inch boards here. And those 1-inch boards are a pain. So the 1-inch boards, that's what sits on the plywood actually sits on. As you can tell, there's a lot more damage down there. Okay, so you can't see it, but there's a hole in the side of the furnace down there on the floor. There's a hole on the other side of the furnace down there. Don't mind them, we're out in the country, so they're just having a little bit of fun. But so what we've done is we mounted these and these dowels were originally 3/4 inch. Tried the 1 inch, they just weren't wanting to. It was harder than heck to try to get in there. So we're gonna mount this one here, this one over here, and then I've cut a board that we're gonna lay on it so we can temporarily get the refrigerator back in place for right now until we can work on this floor down here. So gonna stick this in place and we'll show you some more shortly. So, like all home projects, that is blood. There's the finger there. So as you can see, I've got myself with something, not sure exactly what. Gonna clean that up. I am gonna try to find a way to secure this a little bit more on here. Either put some nails here. But yep, no home project is complete without that the same blood, sweat, and tears. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the camera up, run it now, go clean up my finger, see how bad it is, and then take stock from there. But we're going to see how solid this is. I may have to lay a board underneath of it just to try to secure it right now until I get the refrigerator back in there. Alright, so as you can see, I've probably got the camera upside down, so let's right it side up, or we may have it the other way. But get a view here. As you can tell, it's just a little itty bitty nick, so that's what we call the bark is bigger than the bite. Okay, so being the professional that I'm not, cut that board a little short, so we just put a little extra 3/4 inch doweling, just screwed it right into that place so we can actually temporarily put the refrigerator on here and get it out of the middle of the floor for right now. I am going to cut a small little board so we can kind of fix this hole here. Going to have to figure out how to cut around, and doesn't have to be perfect. We do want to have a little bit of air going to the refrigerator for right now, just because the heat buildup and stuff like that, but it does not have to be perfect. Not trying for perfect right here. We're just going to be functional for right now. So as a temporary measure of taking and this is the old panel board that was right here. We're going to put the refrigerator back up in here for just a little while until we can get some more wood. And I got to recut this board down here because, like I said, this measurement, I'm not exactly sure how we were off with it, but it happens to the best of us, and we'll probably get some more stuff to fix this. So anyways, I got a nail there. It's just barely tacked in there, just enough so it's easier to pull out, and that way the only air that will be escaping is through there. We can always take plastic and cover up the outside if we need to as well. So stay tuned for part whatever it is. So here we are again on day whatever it is and stuff like that. So those two holes back there, look underneath the stove and the cabinet back there. The whole floor underneath is going to be replaced. So what we did is we cut a new board that will actually rest on the 3/4 inch dowel. This one over here, because the other one was too short, so we screwed that up. And then we had done this last night. Now I did buy a pair of gloves today, so when I go to install this new board here real shortly, is what we're going to do is just temporarily put the refrigerator back up in there again once we get the new board in there. And since the camper is actually being lived in right now, we have to rethink some of our processes. And one of that is, we know for a fact that the bathroom is going to have to be redone. So if we can redo the bathroom first and then come push everything from the back up towards the front, then we should be able to hopefully relocate everything towards the front, towards the back, once the bathroom is done and all this other stuff. So anyways, like, subscribe. More videos coming on this do-it-yourself camper repair. Do recommend to really practice with your saws and your tools first, because this has been an interesting experience. You know, I obviously recorded some of my mistakes for you. You've seen that. It's been a long time since I've operated a skill saw, and I'm much better with a jigsaw. So anyways, thank you for watching. We are going to stick this board in. I'll show you the completed process here in just a minute, and then at least the temporary fix that we've done until we can come back and redo this later. Okay, so apparently I needed this little notch to be back over there, so not nice to, you can see the gloves. So anyways, I'm gonna go take the board back out. I'm gonna go cut a little notch back there for the, and I'll show you what's back there. Basically your power and your gas line is back there, so I'm gonna go cut a little notch for that in that corner there. It's still gonna hold, but just had to show you my little mistake there. Be right back here after I get that all cut. Okay, so got the new little notch cut out, and you can see, you know, I got the wires and the gas line coming up through there. Sorry about my finger being in the middle of the way. There you go. And the new board is in here. There it is. And there's going to be a little bit of a gap right there, as you can tell. And the reason for that is there needs to be a little board put up underneath here. And then, but this is all just a temporary fix until we can actually get to the floors underneath. Again, thank you for watching, and they're out. Like, this is what happens when you live in the woods. Target practice. Anyways, take care. Talk to you soon.